TheJamies.net.
We sailed on the MSC Seashore for 7 nights in December 2024. During our cruise, we had the privilege to sit down for a chat with Eversen Bevelle, the ship's cruise director. Known professionally as the Reverend Dr. he shared his personal experiences and insights working for MSC Cruises. Just a quick note that if you enjoy this video, please give us a thumbs up or leave a comment. It really helps our channel. And consider subscribing so you get alerted when we add new videos.
My name is Eversen Bevelle, but on the ship in Odyssey, they call me the good Reverend Dr. E. And E is for everything. And my name is all E's right there. So I am a cruise director, and I'm your cruise director. I'm here to make you feel at home. As the cruise director's role, you should be the voice of reason, the voice of fun, the voice of safety, and the voice of calming. And me personally, I like to make sure that I feel like I want to welcome everyone into my home because, you know, I live here for 6-7 months at a time. So I'm from a very small town called Decatur, Georgia. Decatur where it's great, as we say. And I was born and raised there, and all my life I've been talking to people. All my life I tried to fight. No, I've been talking to people, making folks laugh. I've always been very outgoing. I never met a stranger. You know, the old saying, you never met a stranger. I've literally never ever met a stranger. I was always made a lot of friends in water. So whenever I go on vacation, a lot of pools, you know, I would have the best friends. I would stay in the pool all day, you know, be at the hotel. Mom was like, get out the pool. I was like, I'm still swimming here, I'm good. In high school, I would host like the pep rallies. I played football. I was in the band. I was in drama as well in high school. So I've always been entertaining, and I like to have fun. I like watching movies. My dad used to take me to movies all the time. So I've always been an entertainer, a thespian, if you will. And so, yeah, that's how I grew up. I just grew up just wanting to make people happy. So I've been working in cruise ships and in the cruise industry since 2011, April 2011 to be exact. And I didn't know anything about sailing. I didn't know anything about cruise ships. And a friend of mine, I was working at a television station at home in Decatur, and his name was Kirk. And Kirk busted in his door. He said, "Oh my God!" He said, "I couldn't even focus on this cruise. That was your job." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Cruise director. That's you. You are a cruise director." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Shut up. Get out of the way." And he got down to his computer. He pulled up the description of what a cruise director. He said, "Read that." And he looked at me. He said, "Now tell me that's not you." He said, "That is you right there." He said, "So I need to see you put the application in, right?" So I put the application in, and my phone rung. It was from a stranger. I said, "Hello." He said, "Hello, my please with Eversen, please." I was like, "This is he? Who's this?" He said, "Hello, this is Chris Unstead." I was like, "Oh, what's going on, Chris? How you doing?" He's like, yes. I just wanted to know, I got your email here, got a resume from you. Wanted to know, you're interested in working on the cruise ship. I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Well, I don't normally do this, but I tell you what, send me all your information, headshot, you know, reel, whatever you have. Send it over to me. I'll give you a couple of days, maybe a week or so. It doesn't have to be today or tomorrow, but we'll give it to you, and then we'll give you a call back later, all right?" I was like, "Okay, cool. Hung up the phone, sent me everything I had in 3 hours. I wasn't wasting no time. And then 2 days later, I got another call. "Let's see, we can't interview you officially over the phones. You have to come to one of our interviews." I was like, "What we got?" He was like, "Well, I think we have one coming up in Australia." I was like, I'm not going to Australia. He was like, "We have one in Canada." I don't know if I want to go to Canada. He was like, "Boston. Oh, we have one in Miami." I said, "Why wouldn't you start with Miami, Chris? Everyone needs an excuse to get jiggy with it." So flew down to Miami, and they asked me when I could basically start when I was in Miami, and I said, "Okay, cool." And then I got the job, but that was in November of 2010, and then I didn't end up actually starting until April 2011. The most rewarding part of working on a cruise is people. I love to talk to people. You get some amazing stories. You get to meet some great families. You get to make some great memories for other people. You know, you get to see people grow from young to old. Because I didn't get to cruise when I was growing up. It wasn't, you know, that big of a thing. And then I didn't get to go too far outside of Florida, Myrtle Beach, you know, in Alabama. So we didn't go that far. So for me, I get to, you know, sail the world. Some of the best movies are all about sailing. Star Wars, Star Trek, Pirates of the Caribbean, Alien. Every good script deals with, you know, sailing out in the vast odyssey, which is space or, you know, the ocean. And the ocean has never really been, you know, explored as much as the depths can go. So I like it. It's a good time. I think the most challenging part of working on a cruise ship from a crew member's perspective, it's probably family. If I speak for all crew members, majority it's family. You know, a lot of them come from a lot of different countries that are very far away. You know, some of them have 48-hour travels when they go back home from when they sign off the ship. For me, in entertainment and in curating, you know, good spaces, I would say the most challenging thing is rude people. Because you get a lot of rude people and people who don't have any home training sometimes. You're like, why would you do that? I would say that would be the most challenging thing for me, is just, you know, dealing with rude people and having to make sure that I address them in a professional way. Really, guests don't know anything about life as a crew member. Magandang umaga, magandang hapon. So, you know, the way we live, how long contracts are, a lot of guests are oblivious to the fact. They think that when their cruise ends, that we go home somewhere else. Like, oh, so you guys leaving with us? No, we're here. So that's a very common misconception, that they think we're leaving the moment we leave. Now, some crew members do leave if their contract is up, but majority of the time we're here for 6-7 months at a time. And for a lot of people, this is like a crew member's job. They may have a whole different profession at home, but because the money and the exchange rate is better here at sea, then they come here and work. Like you have doctors and dentists who work in the dining room, and bartenders, because, you know, the exchange rate, you know, they want to travel. I remember there was this one lady, older lady, me and a friend of mine, his name was Orlando, from Jamaica, and we used to always get on, and he said, this lady goes, so let me ask y'all, so at night, do y'all go back to your islands to sleep, or do you sleep on board? And so I looked at her and I looked at Orlando, and we looked to see if she was joking or not, and she didn't smile. So I said, okay. Orlando said, no ma'am, no, we leave every time we go back at night. We jet ski home to the neighboring island. And I was like, yeah, and then we come back in the morning. We come back by helicopter in the morning. And she was like, oh yeah. He's like, so sometimes you hear the helicopter, ticket at the back. That's us. We're coming back on board the rope, and we have to climb back. I was like, yeah, sometimes we climb back. So it's a little noisy sometimes in the morning. So you have to, you know, be weary of those sounds. And she goes, oh, okay. 2 days later, we got a complaint from guest services from a lady complaining about the sound of the helicopter. She said, ma'am, ain't no helicopters. You lying. You're just trying to get something for free. Some experiences I've gained is patience. That's the number one. You know, as a young man, you always, I got to go. I got to get there. But then once you wake up and you're at sea and you can't see land for, 10 miles in any direction, there's nothing you can do to rush anything. You know, you are really in the hands of the Lord at that moment. Like He got you. You can't do anything. You got to be patient. Whatever it is, you learn patience. And then I remember having to explain to guests about Belize. I don't know if you ever sailed to Belize before. Belize is unbelievable. It's a great port. It's fun. But the heart and the beauty is in the heart of Belize, not where we docked. But guests, we would dock, and this was, before we got larger tender boats. They couldn't understand. They couldn't walk off the ship. It's a 30-minute ride there, 30-minute ride back. You have to, just got to be patient. And so that was one thing I had to learn, that people aren't always upset with you. They're just upset with the situation, and you're the closest person to that situation. Leadership, when having to lead a group of people I'm American, so unfortunately for me, I only speak one language. That's English and bad English, right? And so everyone else, every other crew member, is 5 languages, and English may be their 5th or 4th language. And so having to lead a team where English isn't their first language and being able to communicate effectively was definitely a number one leadership skill I was able to pick up. One thing I learned in Americans, when we ask a question, we want to answer immediately, and they'll go to guest service. We want to answer like they answer something, and I always tell this thing: if you get a crew member and you ask them for something, and their response is, yes, good, yes, they don't know what you're saying. They just move on to the next crew member because they don't know what you're saying, and they know that Americans want to hear yes, and good. So they just say yes, good, yes, good. My hidden talent is I'm currently getting my wings, getting my pilot's license. So I'm about 45 hours in, and I love it. If I'm not on the sea, I'm above the sea looking at it, and it's great. A pilot's license is 2 things. It's a procrastinator's dream because you never stop learning. So every time you're flying, it's considered a learning hour, right? And then you really get to experience what it's like to be up there and to see the world from a bird's eye view. My favorite ports have always been the Eastern Caribbean, and now Ocean Key is one of those. But I get my top 5 used to be San Juan, Puerto Rico. I love San Juan, the cobblestone streets, the architecture. I can use my cell phone there. St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. St. Martin, there used to be this fantastic coconut smoothie place. They got blown away during Hurricane Maria though, but that was like the highlight of my life, getting the coconut smoothie in St. Martin. Then there's Grand Turk, and now it's Ocean Key. Ocean Key is a beautiful private island. You walk right out, the water's there, the lagoon's there, you get to see jellyfish, iguanas, coconuts are there. Sometimes you can get a nice coconut, but those are my top 5, and majority of them all mainly in the Eastern Caribbean. I work out a lot. I walk, curls for the girls, as they say. And then I watch a lot of TV and movies. And I went to school for film and television, so I love a good movie. I love a good film. I love a good bingeable show. I'm always quoting movies, so I like to fall into a good script. When I go home on vacation, I get to visit all my mom, my dad, my cousins, my sisters, my brother. I get to go and visit my family, which makes it nice. And so you get these experiences, and then I get to bring them on. Like my mom and my aunts and my uncle, they're cruising for this cruise, so I got to bring them on for Christmas, and so that was very nice. And so they're here, and so that's a good thing. I get to bring them into this experience that we may have never had if I didn't start working on a cruise ship. Because again, I had never cruised before, so I don't know if they would. My mom had never cruised before I brought on a cruise. When I'm off the ship between contracts, I like to spend my time with family, friends. I still work out at home. I do a lot of walking. I like hiking. I get to go to a lot of my favorite restaurants when I'm at home. So, Slutty Vegan, Desta Ethiopian Kitchen. I love Ethiopian food. We have a huge Ethiopian community in Decatur, so I always go there. And I get to sink into like the niche vegan markets. They have, every time I get home, they expand the sweets, they expand the palate. And I'm like, I can't wait to test this place. So that's always fun once I get home, and really just relax, just watch more movies, enjoy. Spend time that you think you lost while you were at sea. That's always one thing. You always think you're missing out on these things, and you're not. You're not really missing out. You can just do it later. You can just, make your own different holidays when you get home. Oh, travel and tourism is the way to go. I feel like everyone should get out. You got to get out of your city, get out of your states, get out of landlocked. You have to get out because you have to experience the world outside of you, because it gives you a greater respect and appreciation for the other cultures. And for at home, because then you can appreciate things more. If you go someplace and you see something like, oh wow, I was thinking I was in a bad place, and you can go to a third world country sometimes and think that it's not that bad. It's much better, and you get a greater appreciation. Then you get an appreciation on the scale where you get to see something beautiful, and it gives you, something to look forward to. Say, I want to go here. I want to try this part. I want to see that part. I love to travel. It's a cornerstone of life. And I feel like we're always meant to travel. And when I was a young kid, I tell people all the time, I would emulate accents, because I feel like if I could emulate their accent, like I could like make myself go where they grew up. You know what I mean? And here it's like we get lots of Indians. I love Indian food, so we have many Indians on board. So they tell me, you like my food? I say, I love Indian food. So, whenever I go, I try to go to the point where they are. So I listen to how they speak, so I can get their tonality, because to me, then it takes me to where they are. And as a kid, that was the only way I got to travel, was through my imagination. I've been so fortunate to be able to walk in this career as myself. So when people go, what's the difference between Dr. E and Eversen? Nothing. There's no difference. I literally have been able just to be myself, and people appreciate me for that. So maybe I would say be myself sooner, but even then I was still, being myself. I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of guests who have either heard about me or sailed me before, and that's not very common in the industry where you have a lot of people that know you. So, I respect that. I know what that means, and I like the fact that they come on board and look forward to me, but then I also like the anonymity part where I'm meeting brand new guests for the first time, and I get to introduce myself to them, and I really get to have fun with them. I get to have fun with a lot of brand new guests on board. They don't know what to expect. I like to, win them over. I like to make sure they're having fun. I like to, wow them with entertainment. And so, you create an experience that they get to take forever. And that's another reason why I started singing the Good Morning song, because when you are out at sea and you start meeting all these people, you realize I don't have enough money. I can't buy everybody a keychain. I can't give everybody, a magnet, but I can give them a memory. So for me, it's like, well, a very good morning. I said a good morning. And they start singing it. So the next thing you know, they're singing it at home. Or if they hear something in the morning, it reminds them of the morning song. And so now they have a core memory that they can take with them. So that's how I try to connect. I want to give them something that's intangible, that they can't hold on to, but they can always carry with them. So I think that's what I look forward to the most. First and foremost, shouts out to my fans. Shouts out to everybody that supported me. I could only have been at this place because y'all kept spreading the word, kept sharing your experience that you had with me. So it means a lot. It means a lot that you share your photos, that you tag me. That means a lot. I like to know that I'm in the memories, and I'm the only one that runs my page, so I'm answering all the questions. So bear with me whenever I get a message. If I don't get to it in time, it's not because I'm ignoring, it's just because I don't have time. So shout out to everybody there that's liking that. Shout out to all the core team, the core crew members that I met along the way that helped cultivate, the space, to help make smart. Shout out to the comedians out there. Man, I have so many friends who are comedians that I met along the way, and they asked me, they say, Eversen, when you gonna do it? When you gonna take the leap? I'm like, what you mean? Because I respect the craft of comedy. And I feel like, because I'm not writing it, they say, you already doing it. You just improv and just do it. And so I respect that kind of encouragement, because you can only get that from somebody else who you look up to and admire. And I've met tremendous talents out here, and they've given me great advice. So I thank you for each and every one of y'all for doing that. But shouts out to my mama, my daddy, for making the decision to bring me in this world. Hey, it worked out. It's worked out so far. And yeah, man, shouts out to the mermaids. I'm a merman, so I always love the mermaids, the sirens out there. Download the Good Morning song. Well, a very good morning. Now say the good morning, and be on the lookout next year. Big things popping, I don't know what ship I'm gonna be on, but I hope it's gonna be yours, all right? Most cruise passengers don't know that we all share beds. So like we have, it's 2 beds to a cabin. So it'll be, and it'll be 4 to those, to the cabin. So when 2 go to work, then the other 2 rest in the bed. Yeah, and so we swap out. No, I'm just joking. I just wanted to see your face. No. But no, it's good. No, man. Crew life is good, man. It's really good.